Good morning. Welcome to Children's Chapel. I'm Pastor Emilie Finn. In the story that I have to share with you today, we're going to talk a little bit more about the parables of Jesus. Once there was a man who said such wonderful things and did such amazing things that people followed him wherever he went. And as they followed him, they heard him talking about a kingdom. But it wasn't the kingdom they lived in, or any kingdom that they had ever visited. In fact, it wasn't like any kingdom they'd ever even heard about. So they just had to ask him, what is the kingdom of God like? Now usually, when people asked him this question, Jesus answered with a parable. I wonder if you remember what a parable is. A parable is a special kind of story. If you ask a question and somebody tells a parable, then you know that the answer to your question is inside the story. But no one is going to just tell you what it is. You have to go inside the story yourself and find it for yourself. Now we've already heard 3 parables this summer. The parable of the good neighbor, the parable of the sower, and the parable of the wheat and the weeds. Jesus told many, many other parables to try to describe what the kingdom of God is like. So here are 3 more. Jesus said, the kingdom of God is like a tiny, tiny mustard seed that someone took and sowed in his field. A mustard seed is the tiniest of all the seeds. But when it grows, it becomes a bush so big that all the birds of the air come and make their nests in it. That was the first parable. Jesus said, the kingdom of God is like a little bit of yeast that a woman took and mixed into her bread dough. The little bit of yeast caused all the dough to rise, and it made the whole loaf of bread beautiful and fluffy. That's the second parable. Jesus said, the kingdom of God is like a merchant who buys and sells fine pearls. But one day, he found one pearl that was so valuable that he sold everything else that he had so that he could buy just that one pearl. So now you notice this is the blank page. And if you go to your Friday email or the caption on this video, you can print out the story for yourself and color it. But on this page, if you had to tell a parable to describe what you think the kingdom of God is like, what parable would you tell? What story would you tell to describe what the kingdom of God is like? And you can write or draw your own parable on this page of the story.